TOEFL sections overview. So let's talk. What is a TOEFL test? What is inside? So we have 4 sections in the TOEFL test: reading, listening, speaking, and writing. And let's start with reading. So we will have usually free texts, free reading passages in the reading section. But here you see that it's 3 or 5, right? So sometimes in the TOEFL test, you have experiments. So it is when the test makers want to see if people who pass TOEFL are having troubles with the new questions or they're okay with the new questions, so they are experimenting. So they give the test takers all those new questions that they are experimenting about, that they are not sure about, and they want to see if people are capable of solving them. So in order for them to experiment and to actually have the right experiment, the experiment that works, they cannot tell you, okay, these are 3 passages that are okay, that we're gonna score you for, and these are 2 passages that you're not gonna get your score, because if you know which passages are experimental, then you're gonna, not try that hard. You're gonna be and relax, just like write any answers. So they do not want you to know which passage is the experiment. So in this case, if you're having 5 passages in the reading section instead of 3, it means that 2 of them are experimental, but you don't know which one. So you have to be completely focused on each and every of these 5 passages, but only for 3 of them you're gonna get your score. And if you have 3 reading passages, so no experiments, it's not the time for you, unfortunately, to celebrate. Because if you don't have an experiment in the reading passage, you're gonna have the experiment in the listening section. So here we have listening, it's 4 or 6 lectures and 2 or 3 dialogues. So if you didn't have any experiments in the reading passage, you're gonna have some experiments in the listening, and so you will have 6 lectures instead of 4 and 3 dialogues instead of 2. So if there is no experiment, classically, it's gonna be 6 listening passages. But since you might have an experiment, if you are having experiments in your listening section, then it's gonna be 9 listening passages instead of 6. So either in the reading or in the listening, you're gonna have experiments. So in the reading section, you either have 3 tasks or 5 tasks. So either 3 reading passages or 5. And for each of those texts, you have 12 or 14 questions, sometimes 13. So it's 12, 13, or 14, something like that. And you have 60 or 100 minutes to complete this reading section. So you have 60 minutes if you have 3 texts, and you have 100 minutes if you have 5 texts. With the listening passage, as I mentioned, you have either 4 or 6 lectures, either 2 or 3 dialogues, and the number of questions to each task is 6. So you have either 60 or 90 minutes to complete this section. You have 60 minutes if there's no experiments, and you have 90 minutes if there are experiments. So with the speaking section, you have 6 tasks. It's 6 questions where you have to speak. They're all different. We'll cover them all. And so you just have 1 question for each task. It's just 1 simple question. Tell us something. And then you have 20 minutes to complete the entire section. With the writing, you have 2 tasks, so 2 essays that you're going to be writing, and you have 50 minutes to complete this section. So how is TOEFL scored? Each section is scored from 0 to 30 points. Then total you get from 0 to 120 points. In the next lecture, we're going to cover how do you succeed in the entire TOEFL test. Thanks for watching.